The dog collapsed mid-wag, front legs buckling under her while her tail was still going, and that's when I knew for certain someone was doing this to them on purpose. I ran the medical side of a non-profit rescue that had gotten almost too good at its job. We were the shelter everyone wanted to adopt from. Clean records, healthy animals, a 90-day follow-up program nobody else bothered with. Our staff were fanatics in the best way. We'd banned a whole brand of kibble the month it got flagged for a bad ingredient, eaten the cost, and never looked back. People drove 2 hours to adopt from us. Then the animals started getting sick. First it was one senior beagle, wobbly, drooling, eyes glassy, like she'd been hit by something. We chalked it up to age and a bad night. A week later it was 2 more, then 5. Perfectly healthy dogs going down in their kennels, hearts racing, some of them seizing. Our phones lit up around the clock with adopters demanding to know why the dog they just met was suddenly in an emergency vet. Try explaining to a family that the puppy they fell in love with is fighting for its life, and you have no idea why it's happening inside your own building. My director lost it. He was sure we had a poisoner on staff and reported 2 of my best techs to the board on nothing but a hunch. Investigation cleared them, obviously. We tried to get animal control and the police involved, but there had been a string of break-ins across the county that week, and nobody had time for sick shelter dogs. Adopters started backing out. Donations dried up overnight. We were weeks from closing the doors for good. My manager pulled me aside and said she was sending everyone home on paid leave except me and one other tech, Priya, just to see if the problem stopped. It didn't. It got worse. 3 dogs crashed in 2 days, and one of them, a year-old shepherd mix, coded on the table before the emergency vet brought her back. Priya and I stopped sleeping. We watched something like 200 hours of kennel footage in a couple of weeks, red-eyed at 3 a.m., convinced we were missing it. Then Priya found the thread. Every single sick animal had passed through the enrichment room, the little space where volunteers gave dogs peanut butter puzzle toys before adoption meetings, on the same day it collapsed. She called me at midnight, hysterical, said she'd pay my cab if I couldn't drive. I went. She had the volunteer logs spread across the floor when I walked in. She grabbed my arm and pointed. Every case traced back to that room, that shelf. We ran down the hall and tore the place apart. Toys looked fine. Bedding, normal. Then I opened the tub of peanut butter we refilled the puzzle toys from and got hit by a smell that didn't belong. Sharp, medicinal, wrong. Priya opened the backup tub on the high shelf. Same smell. There were 3 more behind it. We bagged every one. The lab report the next morning came back positive for a heavy animal sedative, ground and fine enough that you'd never see it. Someone had been dosing the peanut butter. What gutted me most was knowing it wasn't anyone on my team. These were people who came in on days off to hand feed bottle kittens. One of my techs recorded herself reading to a blind dog so it could hear her voice overnight. It wasn't us. It was never us. We were 1 day from shutting down when our food supply driver mentioned something offhand. He'd seen a guy from Harlan Pet Ranch, the big for-profit place across the county, hanging around our loading dock 3 separate times that month. My stomach turned over, then I smiled because that was the first real lead we'd had. It turned out Harlan had been bleeding customers to us since the day we opened. Their owner had been slipping in through the delivery door and spiking the peanut butter to make our animals sick and torch our reputation. The footage, the tubs, and the driver's statement were enough. He was arrested, charged with animal cruelty and criminal tampering, and the story hit the local news so hard that Harlan folded within the month. Every donation we'd lost came flooding back, plus more. The shepherd mix that coded on the table, she recovered fully. I adopted her myself. What's the most disturbing thing a competitor ever did to sabotage a business?